Morning amigos, ¿cómo están? Hello, welcome to Lima, Peru. Once again, my name is Vanessa Vasquez, your local tour guide in Lima City, and thanks so much for giving me part of your morning, part of your Saturday to see one of the most beautiful archaeological sites we have here in Lima. Actually, if you come with me and also with Elizabeth, our Heiko guide in Arequipa during the day, you are going to end up seeing several archaeological sites today. So well, before we start officially this tour that is going to be starting in 4 minutes approximately, I just want to say hi to you all. Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? Thank you so much for coming today. And well, fasten your seatbelts. Today we have a lot of archaeology to see, and I am not far away from the first archaeological site we are going to be learning about. So, by the way, if you can let me know if this is the first time you are joining one of my tours in Lima, I would love to know if this is your first tour with me. I do tours about history, archaeology, anthropology, food. I am a tour guide, by the way. I'm not a historian, but I love history. Hola, Chris. Oh, thank you so much. Be welcome. Welcome to Lima. Welcome to my city, and welcome to my tours also. I hope you enjoy a lot this series of tours I have prepared for today, Saturday. So I hope you can join me during the day. But also other tours that I will be posting, and I have already posted in the website. Hola, Amy. First time watching you. Oh, thank you so much, Amy. Gracias. Thanks for coming. It honors me that you are giving me a chance to show you Lima. I don't know if you've ever been in Peru, but it would be lovely to know if you have been here before. Hi, Mike. Oh, thank you so much, Mike. Muchas gracias. Gracias. And well, I'm so happy that I have so many people coming for the first time to the city of Lima with me. Chris, planning on visiting Lima, please let me know if you have any questions, anything. I can give you some recommendations on what to do in Lima, what to do in my city, what to see also. So, hi, hola, Linda, hello. Cold Florida, usually Florida in my mind is very warm, so that's very surprising. Send you, by the way, lots of warmth from Lima City. Today is very sunny. Hola, Paul. Hola, Paul. Hello, hello. Thanks for coming. Hi, Tracy. Oh, windy and cold Wales, UK. Oh my gosh. Well, must be like we are starting this tour almost in about 2 minutes. So it's going to be 10 a.m. here. So you must be like 5 hours ahead of me for sure. Must be afternoon, late afternoon. So thanks for coming. I hope you can join until the end. Oh, Larry from Boston. Hola, gracias. Snow today. Oh, well, send a little bit of that. Let's say coolness here because it's really hot. It's going to be very hot today. Well, I hope this also can be transmitted through the screen and you can also receive warmth from Peru. Oh, Pat. Whoa. So went through Lima very briefly. Oh, that's okay. Well, I know everybody wants to go first to Cusco. Cusco is the star. And by the way, I have a wonderful colleague in Cusco. His name is Mike, and he's going to be doing tours again in March. And well, this is because this is the rainy season in Cusco, so most likely the climate is not really the best for streaming, for live streaming. So you're going to love his tours, Pat. And everybody, by the way. So, hi, Michaela. Hola, hola. It's so good to see you. And let me send you lots of kisses, Michaela. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Hi, Liz. Hola, hola. Having a blizzard in Boston. Oh, I see that. Well, Boston must be really beautiful these days also. Still cold and nice and so different from Lima. Stacy, Mike is a wonderful guy. Yes. Mike is a good friend of mine. We've been friends for several years before Hego. So he's a lovely person. Very charming, by the way. So, Kidlin, snowy New York. Oh, send a little bit of the snow. You might not like too much the snow after some time, but I've never seen snow in my city. So I'm sure you're going to love today's adventure, seeing how Lima looks like, seeing also how the archaeology of the city is. It's going to be so surprising. And well, once again, thank you so much for joining this tour. I am live streaming from the streets of Lima City. I am an official tour guide. I studied to become a tour guide several years ago, and I graduated in 2005. 2006 is when I started to guiding in Lima. My first work was in a museum, a religious museum, the Catacombs of St. Francis in downtown Lima. And since that moment, I fell in love of this career. I love being a tour guide. I love being an ambassador of my country. And I hope my tours can transmit that to you all. But also, I hope you can see the city through the eyes of a local. That's the idea, basically. So if you have a question, just drop any question. Don't be shy with questions. Well, we are learning all, right? So, well, I hope you are ready to start. Are you ready to start? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a heart. Give me anything you have handy. Muchas gracias. Thank you. And thanks so much also for booking this tour. It's really lovely to see interaction and well, the interest in the tours. So, well, now I am ready to start. So, first of all, let me tell you that I am at the entrance of an archaeological site that is going to be the star of today's event. The name of this site is Huaca Huayamarca. And first of all, I'm panning here from the outside because I also mentioned in the group of Facebook that due to a COVID spread among the workers in the archaeological site just a few days ago, they decided to close it until February the 1st. So it was really, really sad news for me, but I said, no, we have to keep going. I will be showing you not just this site. We're going to be having panoramics externally. I have images with me, pictures with me, and also we're going to give a look into another site that is not far away from here that, well, this is an opportunity actually. I try to think always in opportunities for you. So first of all, let me show you a picture that I have over here about the site that we are going to see in a while in my pictures also and around for a while. This is an old picture. You can imagine that because it has been exposed in the light for long, it has lost some color. But this is the way how the area where we are in this moment looked like back in the 1930s, 1940s, time when this site called attention for the very first time. So this is San Ysidro D Street, and I know some of you been already in Lima in person. So before going into the history of this site, let me tell you that Lima City is divided in 43 districts. One of those districts is San Ysidro, where we are. It is a really affluent district, very beautiful, and we are very close to the ocean, right? So nowadays we don't see the ocean because we have very high buildings. But this is how this place looked like in the 1930s. And this section, for example, over here is what nowadays, or part of what nowadays is the golf course of San Ysidro. What an interesting picture so many years ago. And here you can see an archaeological site, a group of archaeological sites. So one of these sites is the one we are about to see, Huaca Huayamarca. So well, now let's keep going, and we are going to have now the chance of exploring a little bit of how this site looks externally. So Huaca Huayamarca was created long time ago by an ancient culture called Lima culture. So Lima culture is the oldest stage in the history of the city of Lima of, let's say, creativity, of culture, of human development. So this site, which you are about to see clearly in a moment, I'm going to get also closer to the gates for you to have a better image. It was the main religious center of the Lima society back in the time of approximately 200 years before Christ, because this site has been carbon dated, until about 200 years after Christian era. So for approximately 400 years, this archaeological site was the most important religious center. So I'm going to get into here. Okay, so can you see good the image of the site? Can you see the place? Give me please a thumbs up. Okay, good, Liz, thank you. So here we have the temple, the main temple of the culture that existed in Lima over 2,000 years ago. So you can imagine, first of all, Lima being completely different. Lima, which is a flat valley that is protected, or like custodied by two colossus, by the Andes mountain range and the ocean. The people of the coast of Peru, the people of this territory especially, worship the hills, the mountains. They gave the mountains a male character, and the ocean was the opposite. The ocean was female, right? So the ocean was their mother, the giver of life, the giver of products, the giver of fishes. So they needed to worship both. And from these elevated, constructions, they were able to see the mountains and as well the ocean. That's why they needed temples that were very high, because also gave them the opportunity of controlling the view. So we can see here a ramp going up. We're going later to talk about the ramp and also the construction technique. But first of all, I would like to give you an idea of having a nice postcard of this site. So we're going to continue walking, and now, sorry, I'm moving the camera out of the gates just to go around. So, oh, by the way, the neighborhood is really beautiful. Look at this lovely, lovely neighborhood. We are in a really nice posh part of the city of Lima. But we're going to focus now in here, in this part. So as I keep walking, I'm going to be also in a little while show you some images that I have of the before and after of this site. Remember that the reason why we are doing this externally is because there was a COVID outbreak among the workers of this site, and it was made a last-minute decision of closing the archaeological place. But I didn't want to cancel this tour, so this is why, we are doing it still today. So let me just turn on my iPad now that I have some shade, and I would like to show you some images. So first of all, and I hope you can see this image over here. Let me just move it like this. Okay. So one more, sorry, I'm going to try to cover a little bit with the upper part here, and maybe it's going to be a bit better. Okay, so can you see the image? Chris, yes. Just to learning to live with it. So look at this. Can you see the image here? Thank you, Michaela. Gracias. So this is the way how the archaeological site looked. This is an air picture of the 1930s made of the archaeological site. Okay, so you can see that the site looks more like a roundish form, and well, it actually was called the Sugar Loaf temple for a long time, the pan de azúcar in Spanish temple, and because of its shape. For many people, it looked just like a hill, but later in the 1930s, one of the most important archaeologists of Peru, father of the Peruvian archaeology, Julio César Tello, started to work this place, to investigate in this place. Where is the ramp? Well, actually, we don't see the ramp very well. So how come we have come to the conclusion that the site looks like this? Well, let me tell you something. The archaeology has evolved a lot over the years, and we have learned from our mistakes. You can imagine that many projects have ended up ruining lots of archaeological sites with the intention of protecting them, right? So in the beginning of the archaeology, the professional archaeology in the beginnings of the century, the trend among archaeologists and enthusiasts of the archaeology was to reconstruct. So do you know the difference between reconstruction and restoration, my friends? There is, of course, a big difference, right? So we have reconstruction and restoration. Okay, Michaela, let me explain to you all what is the difference. Well, reconstruction is to rebuild something, just following the standards that are in your mind. So, for example, if you think there was a wall there, and it's evident that there was a wall, and you can maybe calculate how high the wall is, you rebuild the wall. There's nothing there, but you know there's at least the foundation of a wall, right? So you can rebuild it. Restoring is different, because if you're restoring, you cannot do something that is not there. For example, this section here, the ramp that goes up, this is reconstruction or restoration. What do you think, according to the image we saw? Is this reconstruction or restoration? Muy bien, Pat, excellent. This is reconstruction. So what do archaeologists believe about this nowadays? Do you think this is okay? Do archaeologists believe this is okay? Not really. Not really. Because when you reconstruct, you are creating something that you are not sure that existed. So this is why it is so important to be careful nowadays with this. Remember, we have this, right? This is the original, and we have this. So back in the 1950s, when the final process of reconstruction, let's say the complete reconstruction of the site happened, by the way, we have a sector that is not reconstructed, which is, can you see this part? This part was left intact. So this is the part that is giving us more fruits, actually, because that is the section where we have basically the information, the archaeological information of the site. So here you can see, for example, the way how nowadays the site looks like. But we have also a sector that is this one here, where we have still findings, the sector on the other side, which is now really protected from the view. We cannot see much from that section, right? And we have the other segment. And from where we have discovered actually most is from the top of the pyramid, so up high. What we have up high? So remember, this was a place of worshiping. This was a place of ceremonies. And this was a place that was somehow for these people closer to the gods. So this is why in the very top, I'm going to move a little bit farther. Okay, here the light is better. In the top, we have findings of mummies. Original mummies' tombs were discovered in the upper part, and they were put in fetal embryonic position when they were buried. So why fetal embryonic position? This is also very curious. These people believe that they were, when they were dying, going to a sort of like rebirth process. There was an afterlife. We are not really sure exactly what was there. Believe in terms of the afterlife, because there were not really accurate documents left in the colonial times by the indigenous that were converted into Catholicism. So because most of them, the ones that were educated, able to let's say able to write and read, they were unfortunately Christians, and they could not understand the indigenous traditions so well, right? They were partialized. Any chance to split the camera lens on one side, like the Adam shot through the fence and for the postcard? Yes, of course, my dear Amy. Thank you. I think, well, from this section, we are a little bit distant, but maybe from the other side here. So let me give you another. No problem, Amy. My pleasure. And also, I think from here, we are going to have the chance of understanding the construction technique of this site. Remember that we're going to see two archaeological sites. today in this first tour. Because it's giving me some time as we are not getting in for the situation I mentioned. So we're going to see another one which is a little bit more advanced in technique. So keep this in mind. The construction technique, what material is this one? Oh, Amy, thanks for letting me know. Hola, Marek. So what material do you think was used to make this temple? Okay, I'm going to keep moving. So clay is saying Ivona. Hola, Ivona. Mud and stone, mud bricks, volcanic stone. Really interesting guessings, huh? Very interesting guessings. Let me tell you that I already see a winner here. Michelle is the winner. Mud bricks, exactly. But how come, Vanessa? This temple is made all in mud? Yes, my dear friends. First of all, the local societies that started to construct in the coast of Peru, especially in the central coast of Peru, look at this really nice angle. So they understood that the earthquakes were such a big problem for construction back then, that they needed to create something very flexible and also resistant. Flexible and resistant. So they use a technique in which the constructions were made on mud bricks. Like 99% of the construction is mud bricks. So is the stone near the fence wall? Yes. Yes, Liz. This stone here is actually, you can see there's cement here. It was made as a, let's say, protection, a barrier for the site. So, but this is the part that is original. And also look how high this section is in comparison to the rest of the construction of the city. Actually, I'm lower, right? So, but remember, this section here is reconstruction. So this means that originally, when this place started to be let's say investigated, it was roundish, right? Like the other picture. So who was the person in charge of the investigation of this site? Well, a person, thank you, Amy, muchas gracias. Thanks for your tip support. As you know, this platform is free to watch, free to join, and it helps us a lot, your tip support. So muchas gracias, amigos. So the person who investigated this site was, gracias, Amy, Arturo Jimenez Borja. So let me show you a picture of this gentleman here. I'm trying to move the camera. Okay, here. So Arturo Jimenez Borja. And Arturo Jimenez Borja, he was not an archaeologist. He was an enthusiastic of the archaeology. He loved archaeology. And he, well, actually was a doctor. He was a doctor. He used a lot of his own money to investigate sites. He had very good connections. And he was in part the benefactor of the reconstruction of this site. Why he needed to do this? You know, because there is a lot of reconstruction in this site, right? So why it was necessary in the 1950s for him to put his money, to invest his money in creating something that looks more like Egyptian for me also? Well, the reason is very simple. Back in the 1950s, there was a very big mega project of development in the area where we are. Maybe you remember the picture that I showed you in the beginning, right? Gracias, Christine. Thank you. So, look at this lovely neighborhood, so green. By the way, Lima City lays on a desert. So because we are on the desert, you know, having green is so expensive, very, very expensive for us. So basically, this zone was in process of development, and well, honestly, the clock was ticking, right? Because this site was in a very juicy location, so people wanted to live here. This was an ugly temple that looked more like a hill that nobody cared. So this is why Mr. Arturo Jimenez Borja realized that if he didn't do something about the site, it would be destroyed. There was no big interest in protection of sites like this one back then. By the way, notice this section. We have here the original floor in which this zone, this city, also was developed. Let me put the camera inside. right? And here we are. Look at this. This is the original soil. This is an excavation section in which we have the some findings of the original, we said the mother soil, which is the stone over here. So in this section is where everything started. The human occupation started. And look how high this site is. So the temple's height is 20 meters. 20 meters. And no need to cover the holes. Yes, exactly. Never rains, Liz. That's right. We're never worried about the rain here in Lima. Never at all. So, yeah, the site is really interesting, as I was mentioning. And now I'm going to be going in direction to the next archaeological site. Any idea how high it was originally? Yes, Michaela. Probably the archaeologists mentioned that the upper part here was really not that much higher than the 20 meters that nowadays we see here. And probably also on the very top, there were some extra meters also, maybe 1 or 2 more meters high of walls or let's say a rooftop for the ceremonies, but not all of the top of the temple was roofed, because the idea was to get to see the sun, the moon also during certain moments, and the ocean, and of course the mountains, the hills. So possibly these temples were open, not roofed. Okay, so now we're going to our car, because no worries, Miguel, thanks for your question. And we're going to our car because we're going to the next side, which is not too far away from here, but it's going to be easier for us to take you by car. So just give me a second. I'm going to get in the car and woohoo! Welcome to my car, by the way. And here we have our driver. Let me just close the door. His name is Marek.
Hello, everybody.
And Marek is my husband, so we are going now to together be able to continue with this adventure. So how excited you are to be driven in Lima, in the crazy Lima city. So let me just put on the seatbelt, and I think I saw a question maybe from Liz, so let me answer it. So has the reconstruction made it impossible to do digs in the area that covers? Yes, Liz. Actually, this is now an intangible zone, which you cannot touch, you cannot, let's say, investigate just easily. We are only able to find new objects from the section that was not reconstructed. The reconstructed part is untouchable. So almost like my hometown, Tracy. Oh, that's so nice. Look at these buildings, Ivona. The traffic you have there is off. Yes, that's right, Ivona. That's right. Welcome to the jungle. So, Lima City has such characteristic traffic. We know it. We live with it. We understand it's not of the taste of everybody. And we need macho drivers to drive in Lima. And not just men are macho drivers, also females can be macho drivers too. So we are now going in direction to another district, and this is actually the next district we will see is very famous among tourists. It is Miraflores. So I hope the connection is good and we are not losing any connection during the way, and you can enjoy also look at these olive trees here. This is one of the oldest parks we have in Lima. The olives you see here are 400 years old in average. There are even some that are older, because the Spanish conquistadors, the conquistadors of this territory in the, let's say, 16th century, the 1500s, introduced for the first time the olives. We had no olives before, as we didn't have, for example, pigs and cows and horses before the coming of the conquistadors. So this is a really interesting park, and people pay a lot of money to live in these zones. That's why we have embassies here. It's really nice. So Ivona, not in European sense, yes, of course. So Liz, amazing, the tree survived. Yes, that's right. Well, this zone is well irrigated. And also, let me tell you how Lima used to be before the coming of the conquistadors. So Lima lays on a desert, but the conquistadors, when they described how Lima looked before their eyes when they came here in 1535, they mentioned that Lima was a very green valley. And this is because we have a river called Rimac River, which was canalized. It was, they were created water channels by the indigenous of Lima. Actually, not the Incas only. You know, the Lima people existed about 2,000 years ago, and they were the first ones who created water channels to irrigate the valley and converting the desert parts into a productive valley zone. Also, the land here was not just dead land, like arid with no vitamins, because millions of years ago, Lima City laid below a gigantic river that nowadays is extincted. That's why the soil of Lima has lots of minerals. Lima City has a soil that is very rich. You just need water. That's it. So we are about to get into Miraflores district to be given the chance of see an archaeological site located in this district. The name of this site is Huacapucllana, and Huacapucllana was the next stage of evolution of the people of Lima in terms of architecture, in terms of construction. So what happened for the people of, let's say, this community of the Lima people needed to build another temple and eventually to abandon the one we saw, because that temple of Huacahuaya Marca was abandoned. There are many hypotheses. Oh, Ivona, Huacapucllana. Well, you are very close. Pucllana. Pucllana. With double L, remember. So, actually, in the internet, you will find lots of really, really cool information, especially pictures of potteries and mummies in full color. Just want to give you an introduction to these sites in this occasion. Gracias, Liz. Thanks for your support, my friend. So, Lima considered a port city? Is the water right off the coast very deep? Thanks, Pat. Actually, yes, we have a port very famous. The port is called Callao, which is an independent zone in the practice from Lima. But yes, indeed, Lima was built by the Spanish conquistadors like as the capital of this territory because of its port. So now I want to show you this interesting site that is called Huacapucllana. And we are going, let me take off the seatbelt, open the door, and get to see some parts of this site. So, we are in another really nice neighborhood. Remember that the name of this site, the district, is Miraflores. And I hope I'm not turning too fast the camera. And we are going to have the chance to see the next stage of the evolution of the Lima culture. So I will try to put the camera inside. I hope this works. I hope the gimbal helps me. Oh my gosh, I made it. Okay, so I see a comment. Miraflores, do you have done tours before, right? Yes, of course. I've done many tours, Michaela, in Miraflores, but never actually connecting my tours of Miraflores with this site, which I think I will one day do one fully dedicated to this site. So this place is Huacapucllana. Gracias, Pat. Thank you. Huacapucllana was the next stage of evolution of the Lima people. we don't know exactly why they needed to build another much bigger temple than the other one we saw, but probably archaeologists say there must have been some dramatic climatic change that maybe they were not able to, their shamans were not able to control, El Nino possibly, could be. And they thought their gods wanted something better, something bigger, so that's why they moved towards this direction. Another possibility is that they had changed the governors, right? And they needed these new governors, this new lineage needed something much bigger. So the site is really big. Its extension, actually, we cannot picture from here how big it is, but the totality of the site is 6 hectares nowadays. And there's something very curious. Do you remember the ramp that we had in the other site? Of course, we know that originally there was a ramp in Guayamarca, the older one we saw, but we don't know if it was like the one we see nowadays. But we have evidences that there used to be a ramp here. This was the front of the temple. How? Can you see these inclinations here? Can you see this? There's one here, there's one here, over here. Can you see them? Sorry if I'm pointing with my finger, but just want to give you an idea. Okay, so imagine this angle, for example. This one here, like this. Can you see how big the ramp, the access ramp used to be? It reaches out this section over here. So impressive. So the site is way much bigger. It's 4 times bigger than the other one. And is, in this moment, just 5 meters higher, 25 meters high. But we know for sure this was much higher, maybe 10 meters higher than this one. The damage in this site was also terrible. I will tell you this just in a little moment. I will focus a little bit in the damage, in the modern damage of the site. But also notice that there's one ramp here. There's another ramp here, and there's another one over here. So we have 3 ramps. This means that this place has been reconstructed in several occasions, increased in size. And this was not the only entrance. There were other entrances also in other sections. So now I'm going to be moving the camera. By the way, this is the big patio, the big plaza, in which we know there were very important ceremonies at some point, and even there are traces of human sacrifices in this site. So now let me move the camera down, sorry. And now we will keep going. So, okay. So this is really an amazing site. And for a long time, this place was in danger. Not just because we are in a nice, luxurious site of the city. This is Miraflores. Also because we had squatters here. We had squatters until the 80s. There was a big community of recyclers. There were people recycling products that live in the top of the temple and in the big plaza. So they were burning the trash in this site for, let's say, making some money and recycling things. So, well, it was very, very dark days for this site. So let's keep walking. So I'm sorry, Vanessa, your tour was scheduled for 30 minutes. Yes, that's right. Yes. No worries, Liz. And I'm just trying to give you a chance to see a little bit more. We are almost in the last part of this tour. Thank you, Liz, for letting me know. I know Renan is also doing some really nice tours. And he's going to be doing something about Afro South American, right, with Sayuri. So this is just the very last part, the carnival. That's right. Yes. So please, I will not want to stop you. This is just the very last part for my friends that are here. I just want to show you the contrast of the restore section and the non-restore. Yes. Gracias, Carol. Thank you, Larry. Thank you. And thanks for coming still for this tour. I have some other tours today that I'm running with my dear friend Elizabeth from Arequipa. So we are doing a series of tours related with archaeology today. You're invited to my next one that is going to be in about an hour. So gracias. Thank you. And well, just to finish this tour, look at the view these families have. What an amazing view. Don't you think? So waking every day in the morning and having something like equivalent to the, pyramids of Egypt. Thank you, Michaela. That is my channel in Hego. Gracias, and thank you. So here we have this section that has been restored, not reconstructed. This is a big difference because this place has been officially investigated in a much later time. We're talking about the 1980s. The first investigations actually happened in the late 60s. The archaeologist in charge of this monumental work was a lady, by the way, so proud of seeing women working in archaeology, Isabel Flores. She was in charge of this place for several years, and she just retired when COVID started. So we have here the two, let me move a little bit forward, the two different situations of the same site. Miraflores is meant to be one of the best and rich parts of Lima, isn't it? Yes, Ivona, one of the best places where you can live in Lima, where you can stay in Lima. Is very safe, and it's really beautiful, as you can see too. So we have in this section the part in which we can see the mud bricks. The style, the technique of construction is the mud bricks bookshelf style. A bookshelf because it looks like a shelf of books, right? One next to the other. This is an anti-seismic technique, an anti-seismic or seismic proof technique of construction. And the other section is how nowadays the place looks like. So this is a part that shows the passing of the years, the passing of the time, the falling actually of material from the top that has covered the bottom section. Sorry for my finger. That has covered this material, has fallen down and has covered this section. Or also the very bricks vibrating after many earthquakes and not restoration have fallen down. So this is why we see this material accumulated outside externally. We don't know exactly how was the appearance of this temple when its days of glory happened, because probably it was painted in yellow color. This is because the investigations have reached out levels in the temple where you see traces of yellow, but unfortunately we cannot really say this was the situation because we don't know actually. And over here we see, this is a section where we have some mannequins. I don't see the mannequins in action. This is the very last part of this tour. Just give me a second. I have, a picture of that. So this is going to be helpful. Okay, so here. So what you have there is actually what you see here. So this is a group of mannequins that are showing how the indigenous people of this zone continue worshiping their idols, their gods, externally after this temple was abandoned around the year 800 of our era. So the local people continue worshiping their gods. In this case, this stick you see over here is the stick that represents Pachacamac, the god Pachacamac, the god of the earthquakes. And Pachacamac was worshipped actually around the 1100s. So the Spanish conquistadors saw indigenous worshipping this god outside the temple. We know this from the chronicles. And this means that these indigenous people continue considering this temple important. This waka means sacred, or could be a temple, could be a person. So they continue considering this place sacred, even though it was abandoned for a long period of time. So now, I'm going to come to the end of this tour. Oh, thank you so much, Beatriz, Caitlin, Michaela, Stacy, and muchas gracias. Thanks for your support. It really means a lot for me to have you have the opportunity of showing you my city, the archaeology of Lima, and especially being able to show you the beauty of my city. You are all invited to my next tours. Gracias. And also, later, I'm going to be doing a tour to an archaeological site where nobody has a spread covering in. So we can go inside the temple. That's going to be a good one. And we're going to the top of the temple, and that's going to be in a while. So exactly 11:30 my time in Lima. So it's going to be in less than an hour. So please come and let's climb together to the top of a temple. So we have the access. I have verified that nobody is closing because of COVID. That's right. So come please and enjoy this site. And then later during the day, also, Elizabeth is going to be doing some really nice tours in collaboration with me about archaeology, but in a different part of Peru, in the Andes. So please join us and have fun and learn something new about the history of Peru. Muchas gracias, amigos. See you later. And thanks so much to the people that have been able to join for the first time my tours in Lima. Really, thanks so much for the opportunity. So God bless you all. Have a lovely rest of the Saturday. Take care. See you. Gracias, Ivona. Dziękuję. Gracias, Paula. Gracias, Peggy. Thanks so much. Can we get pic of you without a mask? Oh, yes, of course. I think there's nobody around. Is that okay? Thank you, Amy. Muchas gracias. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Have a lovely rest of the day. See you soon. Bye-bye.